So to recap, today's news, there's no collusion with the Russians. No collusion today, no collusion yesterday, no collusion the day before yesterday. Mr. Mueller hasn't brought a single charge related to collusion with the Russians. He hasn't brought a single charge related to collusion with the Russians before the election. He hasn't brought a single charge related to collusion with the Russians to influence the election. That's number one. Number two, Mr. Comey passed, former FBI director at the time, passed on false statements charges against Mike Flynn because he didn't think he was intentionally lying. Mr. Mueller decided to bring those charges. Third point, somebody very close to Mike Flynn told Fox News he pled because he was emotionally broken, financially broken, and his family said enough. Which is exactly what Mr. Mueller was out to do, destroy the man and then have him dance on his finger. And now he has him tied around his finger like the mob would do. We have charges in this investigation with Mr. Manafort and Gates related to failure to file as foreign agents, charges that are almost never brought. We have charges on tax violations without bringing any tax evasion cases or charges. We have false statement pleads. We got it with the Papadopoulos fellow. We have it now with Mike Flynn. That's it. That's it. That's all there is right now. Contact with foreign governments by an incoming administration is not illegal. It's not criminal in any sense. And those conversations, to the extent that they took place, Mr. Mueller has access to as a result of the constant, as we've learned over the past many months due to leaks, the constant espionage that goes on in terms of the ambassador of Russia and others. So they know what was discussed. And yet there's no charge on collusion. They know what was discussed, but there's no collusion charge. There's no substantive charge. No underlying criminal charge. And so what I'm saying to you today is, despite all the static, all the jumping up and down, all the rest of it, what Mr. Mueller has demonstrated today, with the information that he has put out in open court and is leaking out through his surrogates, what Mr. Mueller has demonstrated today is he has no collusion case against anyone. Against anyone. He went after the former campaign chairman. Has nothing to do with collusion or crimes associated with collusion. Now Flynn has pled to false statements with the FBI. Nothing to do with collusion. And now we need to know who told Flynn to speak to the Russians among other foreign governments. Why does that matter? Why does that matter? The contacting of the Russian ambassador or Russian officials is perfectly legitimate. This special prosecutor isn't so special. And his hatchet men that he's hired, Obama, Clinton supporters, have brought not a single case related to collusion, not a single case related to any crimes related to collusion. Nothing. Zero. Cases involving taxes, cases involving foreign reporting, cases involving lying, but nothing. Zero. And to me, after you broke a general like this, after you've gone after a guy named Manafort and some of the others like this, you've done everything you can, and up to now, this is what you've got. What the media should be reporting is Mr. Mueller doesn't have a collusion case. Mr. Mueller does not have a collusion case. Mr. Mueller does not have a criminal case against anybody so far where he claims they were colluding with the Russians to influence the elections to help elect Donald Trump. Now, maybe that'll come, but it didn't come through Manafort, didn't come through Gates, Papadopoulos, Flynn. Who's left? Are they going to go after Kushner for telling Flynn to contact the Russians? And maybe he forgot to tell the FBI or somebody, even though it's not a crime Not a crime. It's not a misdemeanor. It's nothing. It's nothing. It was a K.T. McFarland. Or was it Donald Trump? This whole thing is pathetic. Absolutely pathetic.